How often do you feel tired, or you hear yourself saying, I just don't feel like I want to do it? Or you see somebody doing something and you say, I'm just too tired. Well, this is what we call sloth. And sloth distracts our attention from doing the things that we really want to do. And we allow this impulse, really, because that's what it is. It's just coming through the primitive brain, and all ideas come through there, and the primitive brain doesn't want to do anything. Right? And so it just keeps our attention away from what really makes us happy and gives us a fulfilling life or a higher quality of life. So imagine how you go through your day and focus, or how often do you go through your day and focus on what you don't want to do, or you're too tired, you don't want to start something, right? And you focus on that, not how energetic it makes you feel. Just like me in creating these videos. The first time I'm like, I don't want to do this. But then once I get going, then it's like, oh, this is cool, right? So examples include your favorite hobby, some of your sports you want to do just a little bit, okay? Well, just getting started can help you, right? Because this feeling, an impulse of sloth, or I don't feel like it, creates tension in your mind, in your body. And what that does is stops you from being who you want to be. And it's like the feeling of being tired, and it will prevent you from doing what you really love doing. But because it's going through that primitive brain says, oh, I don't want to, I don't like it. Right? That's sloth. Now, Stephen Levine, who wrote The Gradual Awakening, and where I learned a lot of this, has a great saying. It says, you get energy from exerting it. So by just pushing through that sloth and catching yourself saying, I'm too tired, I don't want to do it, that can right there help you. Because the most successful people in the world have made it a habit to change adversity, thinking something like, I'm too tired, I don't want to. That's an adversity. So they take that adversity and they look for an opportunity with an equal or better benefit or value. So that's what they do automatically. These are what the most successful people do. They don't have to rethink it. They've trained themselves. They practice doing what I'm trying to help you guys learn right here. Okay, so first thing you want to do is put in your email address so I can send you your input. That's it. That's the only reason I have it. I don't use it for anything else. And here's the video that you're watching. Now here are the 5 distractions: anger, greed, sloth, worry, and then doubt. Okay, anger and greed are pretty much opposites. Sloth and worry, what we're going to talk about in the next session, are opposites, and I'll tell you more about those later. Okay, so sloth is the one we're working on now. Go ahead and put in your name, but use an alias if you don't want somebody to see your name. Okay. Now let's move into the Sloth Awareness Challenge for the next 2 days. Okay, take 2 days and become aware of when you're saying, you're feeling slothful, I don't feel like it, I don't want to do it, I don't want to start it. And, this is wishing to do nothing, wishing you had more energy, wishing to have someone do something for you, or wish you didn't even have to do anything. See, these wishes aren't bad, but if they are dominating adversely your feelings and thoughts, it's time to reduce their pull on your happiness, fulfillment, and quality of life. So keep that in mind. So the steps of the Sloth Impulse Challenge is to just identify it anytime you feel, I don't want to, I don't feel like it, and then name it. And this is when I feel it, this is the name, oh, it's sloth, it's greed, or I don't want to. Then rate your primitive brain and what it tells you about that sloth at first, why you don't want to. Then ask your logical brain, really, how bad is it? Ooh. That's the second step. And on the third step, you're going to ask yourself, how bad is this adversity? Because our primitive brain is going to make us think that, oh, I don't want to, it feels so bad, like it's the worst thing on the planet, because that's all the primitive brain knows. Okay? And it just knows want to, don't want to, and it makes it, it'll come up with an excuse why you don't want to. Then, and compare that, the adversity to the worst thing that could possibly happen. And primitive brain gets a little bit, oh, well, maybe that's kind of a good point. All right, now, number 3, and one of the most important, and this is probably one of the most important habits you could ever create, and that is the habit of looking for an equal or better benefit opportunity. Okay, so look for that opportunity with an equal or better value or benefit. This is huge, very important. So here is your process. Go ahead and go through it. Then, a warning though, like with all of these sessions, be careful. Because if you start thinking about my sloth or my tired or I don't feel like it, these are just thoughts. They are not you. They are not your life. But that primitive brain tries to make us think so. Okay? And you don't want to get rid of that primitive brain. It does a lot of work for you. But we want to make sure that we're not succumbing to these adverse impulses. Okay, so the next is your 3-step benefit process. Is think of a time in the past when you're too tired, you didn't feel like it, and write that down. Then if you could use this process above, and how would your experience, how would that have been different? Okay. And then the third, what would be the benefit of using that process in the past, that is. So in conclusion, we've looked at the distraction called sloth, or I'm too tired, or I don't feel like it. We talked about what it is, how you can identify it, and the process to go through to train yourself to be more aware, and instead of focusing on the adverse distraction, you are looking for that opportunity with equal or better value. And we're also reinforcing it by thinking about a past situation where you could have used this, how it would have worked, and what would be the benefit. Okay. So now, in the next session, we're going to look at worry. Okay? And in worry, that's a distraction of worry and fear. And this one gets to where it really can overcome our functioning. So we want to make sure we look at how we can slow or stop that worry from distracting our attention, awareness, clarity, happiness, flow, all that jazz. And if you would, please, I would love if you would answer some of this question here, and it's, what was valuable? What were ideas that were valuable for you with this sloth awareness exercise? And again, in the next one, we will be working out worry. So once you submit, check your email, get your content, and you can then post that content online for something that you've learned today, or some way you are better, and then help others become better from what you learned in your experience. So thank you very much, and we will see you in the next session when we talk about worry. Bye now.